Today on the UOFanatic Podcast, we will be talking about Revenge of the Mummy and the Today Café. Two things very different, but what they have in common is they're both things I hold very close to my heart. So let's get to it.
Hello? This is Jonah Jameson. Roger, over. Is this thing on?
My name is Angus, and I am a UOFanatic. Welcome to the show. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review on your platform of choice by searching UOFanatic, also on YouTube. Follow along and continue the conversation at UOFanaticPod on Twitter as well. Before we dive into our topics, let's talk about a little bit of news. We officially got that announcement for Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift, and let me summarize the drama surrounding it. The attraction's queue is expected to be in New York, so a lot of people seem frustrated that the attraction has the same name as its Hollywood counterparts. Completely staying neutral here, I'd like to point out the previous attraction with an almost identical footprint was called Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, and no one seemed to be very upset about it, but maybe we could all just relax a little bit. The drama also seems to be centered around the fact it has the same name as in Hollywood. I've heard people saying, why can't we keep things different on the coasts? But I'd also mentioned the ride is going to be very different here. It's just going to share the same name. Just want to point out that Mardi Gras 2026 begins this Saturday, February 7th. How exciting, and if all goes well, I will be there next week to see it for myself. The event does run until April 2nd this year. Today on February 3rd, Inside Universal sent out a tweet. This year's Mardi Gras tribute store brings us to Tauntaun's Roadhouse. We don't know much yet, but it looks neat. It has kind of a skeleton opening its mouth for the entrance. Has the kind of feel from a campy carnival, like local town carnival type of a thing. It looks pretty neat. Looking forward to see what it's all about. On February 1st, Orlando hit 24 degrees, record-breaking lows. This resulted in things like icicles being formed on multiple Universal Orlando fountains. A lot of trees and vegetation had to be covered up for protection against the cold. I hope it worked out well for those plants. And let's just say the locals were a little disturbed with how cold it was. There will be a Super Bowl 60 watch party at Hard Rock Cafe with beer specials and shareables. And the NBC Sports Grill and Brew is expected to participate, but details have not yet been released. I'm a little surprised here because last year there was a lot of drama around this, so stay tuned if that was your plan. All right, let's dive into the first topic, Revenge of the Mummy. Revenge of the Mummy opened in Florida and in Hollywood in 2004. In Florida, it replaced Confrontation, one of my favorites. It also exists in Universal Studios Singapore, which opened in 2010. Let's talk about the little statistics and guest requirements. All loose articles and bags must be stowed in a locker, which is provided to all riders at no charge. The attraction has a 48-inch height requirement for all riders. You must be able to transfer to a wheelchair and be able to step onto the attraction in order to ride. The attraction lasts for 2 minutes and 57 seconds. The track layout is 2,200 feet, and the ride uses a sophisticated linear induction modem propulsion system to achieve its high-speed launch lasting 1.5 seconds and getting to its top speed of 45 miles per hour. Each ride vehicle is designed to carry 16 passengers, seated in 4 rows of 4. There are typically 11 vehicles in operation at any time and an estimation of serving 2,000 guests per hour. The biggest drop in this attraction is just 39 feet. The Mummy can best be described as a story coaster. It's half dark ride and half coaster. It was best in breed in my opinion and really paved the way for later attractions like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and Escape from Gringotts at Diagon Alley. The Museum of Antiquities serves as the facade for Revenge of the Mummy in the New York section of Universal Studios, Florida. It's styled after an early 20th century museum or excavation headquarters. The facade has architectural details mimicking Egyptian revival design with tall rectangular shapes, heavy stone textures, and a symmetrical layout. The building intentionally looks aged and sand-worn as if exposed to decades of desert winds. As you approach the attraction, there can often be found stilt-walking performers as Egyptian guards. Generally, muscle-bound men and women, sometimes with gray-colored contact lenses, making them even more intimidating than they already were. The queue does have 3 different entrances, one for standby, one for express, and of course, single riders. Riders not choosing the standby line will miss quite a bit of the story narrative as a result of just not going through those spaces. The line begins among film production trappings, cameras, storyboards, and molds, before transitioning at the halfway point into the dimly lit, ancient burial chamber of Imhotep. Universal Creative included several interactive artifacts that react to guest input, but beware they're often broken because, guests. If you touch an ornate brass hand symbol on the burial vault, it causes lights to pulsate and the soundtrack to change. This viewing glass, it's a dark glass frame that when a jewel-like scarab is touched, it shows the path ahead and lets guests trigger an airjet blast on others that are crossing a wooden bridge. A hole in the wall containing a gleaming object that vanishes when guests reach for it, accompanied by a startling air blast. In addition to these guest-activated triggers, the attraction also pays homage to the 1999 film and the ride's predecessor, Confrontation. The large ancient door near the entrance is an authentic prop physically used in the filming of the 1999 Mummy, and references to King Kong are hidden throughout, including banana hieroglyphics, old ride tokens on a workstation desk, and a gold King Kong statue in the treasure room. Additionally, the original suspended track from Confrontation still hangs from the ceiling above the ride, but it's not likely you're going to be able to see that without going to the production tour. Within the story, the museum acts like a hot set for a fictional Mummy sequel where guests are invited to participate as extras. The walls are constructed from over 60,000 pounds of gypsum and feature real Egyptian hieroglyphics spelling out warnings such as "Death will come on swift wings to whomever violates this tomb." As you're walking through the line, in addition to these set pieces, you'll also see monitors playing a fake documentary where the crew expresses fear that a real Egyptian curse is haunting the set. Brendan Fraser is the skeptic who is more concerned about getting a cup of coffee than the supernatural danger. You're also introduced to Reggie, a distressed production assistant who absolutely believes that this curse is real. Halfway through the queue, the modern movie set transitions into a 1920s-style excavation site and a dimly lit burial chamber filled with hieroglyphic warnings and those interactive artifacts that I covered a few minutes ago. After boarding the 16-passenger mine cart, you enter the tomb and find that the movie set illusion has been shattered. A mummified Reggie appears and warns you to turn back, screaming, "The curse, it's real." Suddenly, Imhotep bursts from a sarcophagus, sucks the soul out of Reggie, and threatens to rule for all eternity with your souls as well. Imhotep leads you into a treasure room filled with more than 3,000 sheets of gold foil, offering you riches if you serve him. When you refuse, mummy warriors appear and you are chased into a room where scarab beetles appear to be pouring out of the walls. Your vehicle slams to a stop, falls backward, and rotates 180 degrees as Imhotep taunts, "There is no escape." You are then launched at high speed through a cloud of green fog and into a dark, intense coaster section filled with fluorescent apparitions. The ride seems to be over, but the vehicle stops at a secondary station where a silhouetted ride attendant welcomes you back. Imhotep suddenly reappears, vaporizes the attendant, and ignites the ceiling with fire before dropping the vehicle 39 feet into a second coaster section. Here's the part you will find the ride photo. It's during that dive. Look for the flash. You eventually return to the real loading dock, where a video screen shows Brendan Fraser back on the set. He complains that he would have enjoyed the experience much more if he had gotten his cup of coffee, just as a mummy's hand reaches into the frame and hands him one. Upon exiting the ride, you step out to the Sahara Traders gift shop. Here you can view your on-ride photo, purchase missing posters of Reggie, and find apparel featuring the Magi symbol. This attraction underwent a very long 2022 refurbishment, and it was an extensive 7-month project. It lasted from January to late August. It primarily focused on modernizing the ride's technical infrastructure while preserving its iconic narrative elements. While many upgrades were internal, such as an overhauled ride control system, visible improvements included enhanced show effects and a refreshed gift shop. New animation projections were added to the Scarab beetle scene, and new lighting effects were installed in the launch tunnel. The sophisticated Imhotep animatronics received internal upgrades intended to improve their movement and reliability. The load area received newly recorded safety spiel messages. The entire courtyard out front was repaved, and Sahara Traders, the exit shop, was redesigned with a darker tone and new Easter eggs referencing King Kong and classic Universal monsters. The shop improved drastically. It's one of those places where I would encourage you to really take a good look around. It's different, When you go from gift shop to gift shop, you often see the same things, and this is a place that's going to be very different. Despite rumors that the 19-year-old footage might be replaced during this refurbishment, they kept the meta movie set entirely intact. So the Twitterverse went into riot mode for that entire period, thinking that they were going to change the whole thing, and they worried about everything for absolutely nothing. All the pre-show videos in the famous Cup of Coffee finale featuring Brendan Fraser were preserved and remained a central part of the experience. The overall story of the production tour and the curse remained unchanged. I would absolutely put Revenge of the Mummy as an S-tier attraction. It was another of those revolutionary moments in Universal's theme park history. It's another attraction that felt way ahead of its time and still holds up today. All right, now let's dive into the Today Café, which just happens to probably be my favorite quick service restaurant, maybe, I think, in any theme park, at least for the moment. I have not done a lot of the quick service at Epic Universe, but to date, I would say Today Café. The Today Café at Universal Studios Florida is a quick service restaurant designed to be a physical extension of NBC's long-running morning show. Replaces the 29-year-old Beverly Hills Boulangerie with a high-tech, media-integrated environment that replicates the Studio 1A set in New York City. The Beverly Hills Boulangerie was a staple of the park for nearly 3 decades, characterized by its traditional French bakery aesthetic. It was an opening day eatery for Universal Studios Florida, and it first welcomed guests in 1990. The restaurant remained in operation for 29 years before it was eventually closed to make way for the new NBC-themed concept. Like its successor, it served as a casual dining spot often used by early morning arrivals. The decision to replace the Boulangerie was part of the strategic shift to prioritize brand relevance and corporate synergy over nostalgic continuity. The Beverly Hills Boulangerie officially closed its doors on January 7th, 2019. Studio 1A is the iconic New York City television studio located at NBC's 30 Rock Center, where the Today Show broadcasts live daily. In the context of Universal Studios Florida, it serves as the architectural and thematic blueprint for the Today Café, which is a meticulously designed replica of the actual set. The cafe's primary goal is to bridge the gap between television spectatorship and physical immersion, making guests feel like they have wandered directly onto the NBC set. The venue features a fresh and modern aesthetic that prioritizes brand relevance over the nostalgic French bakery style of its predecessor. This location is a key example of NBC Universal leveraging its intellectual properties for sensory guest experiences similar to the nearby Jimmy Fallon-themed attraction. This concept is reinforced by the involvement of show personalities. For instance, Al Roker and other anchors participated in the grand opening and have a recurring influence through seasonal recipes and broadcast clips. The interior includes floor-to-ceiling windows, vibrant orange awnings, and lighting designed to mimic television stage lighting. Not to mention some really great people watching if you happen to be facing up against a window. Television screens are omnipresent, playing a continuous feed of Today clips, live headlines, and even the live broadcast of the show in the mornings. This atmosphere acts as a curated version of the New York experience optimized for a theme park setting. The outdoor seating area is designed to resemble the Rockefeller Plaza exterior, minus the chaotic signs and crowds. The exterior marquee can be described as Instagram-worthy, serving as a popular backdrop for social media content. The cafe's location just inside the park's entrance arches makes it a primary destination for the rope drop crowd. While the morning environment can be congested with lines sometimes wrapping outside, the atmosphere typically shifts to a much more relaxed urban bistro or informal lounge in the afternoon, especially when paired with the venue's wine and beer offerings and a cheese plate for two. This location significantly dictates the guest flow and overall convenience. As mentioned, because it's a primary stop for coffee and breakfast, the cafe experiences extreme congestion between park opening and that first hour of operations. I would recommend anytime after that morning rush should be fine, but it typically is really calm between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. for a much more grab-and-go experience or a midday reset. The restaurant does have mobile ordering inside the Universal app, and the kitchen only begins preparation once the guest selects prepare my order upon arrival. I haven't personally had any bad experiences using the mobile ordering, and even at busy times, as long as I can get a table, it's worked out pretty well for me. For many visitors, the primary draw is the departure from standard theme park staples like burgers and fries. The menu emphasizes lighter options, including gourmet salads that guests note that it exceeds the quality typical of most quick service venues. Sandwiches like the Carnegie Platter or the 30 Rock Mid-Towner provide filling meals that feel like an upscale deli experience rather than fried greasy food. Guests can enjoy seasonal dishes based on Al Roker's personal recipes, most notably the Park Avenue avocado toast, which features smashed avocado, toasted cashews, and a lemon vinaigrette. The Today Café is a favorite for guests with specific dietary needs, such as those with celiac disease or vegan lifestyles. The cafe is highly accommodating, offering gluten-free bread or buns upon request and featuring naturally gluten-sensitive items like the chicken pesto flatbread, which is actually made out of a cauliflower crust. Unlike restaurants that offer meat substitutes as an afterthought, this venue features dishes designed from the ground up to be plant-based, such as the iHeart vegan sandwich. The staff are allergy trained, and for mobile orders involving allergies, a member of the venue's leadership team will personally meet with the guests to discuss safe options. The Today Café at Universal Studios Florida organizes its menu into categories that emphasizes freshness, health-conscious options, and real-life flavors as an alternative to traditional greasy theme park fare. Its categories include protein-dense breakfast staples, NYC-themed lunch platters, gourmet salads, artisan flatbreads, and a rotating selection of pastries, all supported by a robust beverage program. Breakfast sandwiches include the egg white Florentine on ciabatta, the everything croissant featuring sausage, smashed avocado, and Davina tomatoes, and the smoked salmon lox bagel. They offer bowls and lighter bites. For guests seeking non-fried option, the menu offers acai bowls topped with organic granola, overnight oats made with agave and almond milk to remain vegan-friendly, and tropical chia pudding. The Park Avenue avocado toast, as mentioned inspired by Al Roker, has become a menu staple for its bright and fresh profile, featuring toasted cashews, shaved fennel, and lemon vinaigrette. At midday, the cafe transitions into hearty platters named after New York City landmarks and culture, reinforcing its brand identity. The Carnegie is a hot pastrami, Swiss and deli mustard on rye. Big fan of that one myself, personally. The Bulls and Bears, smoky beef brisket, cheddar, and horseradish cream. The 30 Rock Mid-Towner, shaved roasted turkey, smoked Gouda, and a tomato aioli. The iHeart Vegan is portobello peppers, vegan jalapeno cheese, and tomato pesto. They have some signature salads, including the Chinatown chicken salad with daikon sprouts and wasabi cashews, and the Soho salad featuring farro, roasted cauliflower, and prosciutto. The chicken pesto artisan flatbread is built on a cauliflower crust, as I mentioned earlier, making it naturally gluten sensitive. The cafe features a prominent dessert display case in which items change frequently, no doubt to encourage repeat visits. They do feature a rotating selection of cruffins, eclairs, tarts, and cheesecakes, and are baked daily at the resort's central bakery. During events like Mardi Gras, HHN, and the holidays, there are always limited edition sweets and baked goods themed special for those events. It makes it feel like this is part of the event as well. The cafe serves a unique Today Café blend. It's locally roasted Peruvian and Ethiopian beans, and they offer a nitro cold brew as well. They also have wine and beer on tap. In a nod to the 4th hour of the Today Show, the cafe offers a draft selection, Stella Artois, Sam Adams seasonal, and wine by the glass, which can be paired, as I mentioned earlier, with a cheese platter for 2. This is one of the few places I regularly eat lunch at every trip. For me, it's about how good it is, how light it is, and how easy it can be. So many options, all of which probably can't be found anywhere else on the resort. Several breakfast options can be found under $10, and the hearty sandwiches are roughly $15 to $16 each. The theme park pricing, that's a lot of value, and you'll appreciate the quality as well. As we mentioned before, other than because it's right up front of the park, once that rush is over, this becomes a very leisurely place because people don't typically stop at quick service on their way out, right? So once that part comes, and it's not that inconvenient to get to. So I frequent this place quite a bit for all of these reasons. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the UOFanatic podcast. So let me ask you, have you ever ridden Revenge of the Mummy? Well, what'd you think of it? Where are you going to have your next lunch at? And when you go to Universal Orlando, I'd love to know. Please comment on Twitter to UOFanaticPod or leave a comment to UOFanatic on YouTube. While we're on the topic, please like and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. I would also really appreciate it if you spread the word about the show or share an episode on social media. I really would appreciate your support. Speaking of support, if you'd like to support the show, please consider allowing me to assist you and book your Universal vacations. I am an authorized Universal Orlando Resort specialist with decades of experience at touring the Universal Orlando Resort. Remember, my service costs nothing to you. It's absolutely free. I am paid for by Universal Destinations. Hey, I can also help you with your Disney vacations as well. Find out more at UOFanatic.com, where you can fill out a short form on the right sidebar to let me know how to get in touch with you about your Universal Orlando vacation. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Guess that wraps things up. You guys did all right. But don't give up your day job. Say cheese. See you later.
Congratulations.